8th graders, this is lesson 5.5 over the Pythagorean Theorem. Some teachers refer it as the Pythagorean Theorem. Either one is considered to be correct. If you look in your composition book, it tells you that the Pythagorean Theorem describes the relationship between the length of the legs and the hypotenuse for any right triangle. The Pythagorean Theorem only works in right triangles. And when you have right triangles, this is called a leg, and this is called a leg because they form the right angle. This is called the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the longest. The Pythagorean theorem says that if we will use a squared plus b squared, it will equal c squared. Well, just where are those things? One leg is always a, one leg is b. You can interchange a and b, it does not matter. But the hypotenuse is always c. If you look at problem number 1, the triangle looks like this. And it says that this is 4, this is 5, and this is c. So when we use Pythagorean theorem, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's 4 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25 equals c squared. Now, order of operation says we need to add 16 and 25, which would be 41, equals c squared. If you'll remember from chapter 1, to undo squares, we have to do the square root. The square root of c squared is c, but you'll have to do the square root of 41 in your calculator, which is 6.403, but the instructions say round to the nearest tenth. Because 0 is 4 or less, then our answer is 6.4. If you look at problem number 2, it is very similar, only they turned the triangle the other direction. But what direction the triangle is turned doesn't matter. So we'll do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A can be 9, b can be 5, but we're still looking for c squared. 9 squared is 81, 5 squared is 25, and that equals c squared. That is 106 equals c squared. Then we need to do the square root. The square root of 106 is 10.295, but we're still rounding to the nearest tenth, and because 9 is 5 or more, that means we need to round this to 10.3. Okay. Problem number 3 is a little different because this time they give us the hypotenuse, and we're missing a side. Finally, I got it to write. So we'll have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, we don't know a, so we have to leave it. So the b must be the 15, because that's the other leg that forms the right angle, and then c is 25. So we have a squared. 15 squared is 225. 25 squared is 625. So to solve that, this time we're going to subtract the 225 from both sides. So we have a squared equals 400. Then we can do the square root of both sides. So a equals 20. That tells us the length of the missing leg. If you look at number 4, the only difference in number 4 and 1 through 3 is this time they don't give you a picture. Sometimes students consider that easier because all they have to do is plug in the letters. So on 4 it says a is 7, so we would have 7 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. 7 squared is 49. 12 squared is 144. 49 plus 144 is 193. So when you do the square root, the square root of 193 is 13.892. Well, we have to round to the nearest tenth. The 9 is 5 or more, so 13.9 is the length of our hypotenuse. Let's look at one other one before I sign your homework. If you'll look at number 5, it tells you that A is 10 yards and C is 25 yards. So you're still going to start with the same Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So 10 squared plus B squared equals 25 squared. 10 squared is 100 plus B squared equals 625. Subtract 100 from both sides. So B squared equals 525. Take the square root of both sides. So B equals 22.91. But because we're rounding to the nearest tenth and one is 4 or less, then our answer is 22.9 yards. That should make you be able to do homework 5.5 now, including the homework and the problem solving. Good luck.